Well, our guest today has been an illustrator and graphic designer for over 30 years. Illustrating for children's books, she's done work for OnStar, Dick and Jane Baking Company, and many others. She's also been teaching for 21 years, helping build the skills for the next generation. We'll be taking a look into how she got where she is today and what's coming up for the future. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson, and today I'm with Robin Ward, graphic designer, illustrator, and professor here at Madonna University. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, the proverbial question, how did you get started with art?
Well, I've always loved drawing. When I was a little kid, I drew on everything. One of my earliest memories is of drawing giant flowers on the walls of the bedroom with my mom's lipstick.
Oh.
I think I was 4 or 5. And since then I was hooked. It just felt so good. So I've always drawn.
Well, and was your mom, do you remember your mom's response to the?
I don't remember getting in trouble, but I've been told by family members it wasn't pretty.
Well, and now I see that they encourage children to draw on the walls. There's even kits where you can do that and like decorate your bedroom like murals and everything.
Right.
So maybe you were just ahead of your time.
I hope that's it.
Now, did you come from a family of artists, or was this a pioneering endeavor on your part?
Well, my dad is very creative. He builds things. He's a wonderful photographer. My grandmother's family had artists in it. They're from France, and so I was told I was related to Jean Tissot, who is an impressionist painter. I don't know if that's true. That could be legend memory and not real, but that's what I've been told. So
sounds like you need to do Ancestry or
yeah,
23andMe
absolutely.
and figure out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, how wonderful. So, you know, you're here, you're doing all these things. We're going to talk about some of these awesome pieces that you've brought with you today. What was the path to get there? How did you get there?
Well, I always knew I wanted to be an artist. That's what I always wanted to be, I mean, since I can remember. And so I didn't at the time realize you could make a living doing it. So I was encouraged by a high school teacher to apply to art school. And I got in at CCS, which is College for Creative Studies in Detroit. And I just hit the ground running from there. So I went there as a graphic designer and graduated from there. And I was always taking painting and drawing classes too. So I did pottery, I did printmaking, I tried everything, and I liked all of it. So that's kind of what got me started.
And did you ever doubt that this was the path for you? Or once you were in, were you like, that's it?
That's it for me. I knew what I wanted to do. Now, there have been times where it's been slow, and like any career, there's, you know, peaks and valleys, but I always knew that was what I was supposed to do. And I never, you know, and I didn't think I would love teaching as much as I do. I got into teaching from my art too, so.
We'll talk about that journey a little bit.
Okay.
So it started from a high school teacher encouraging you.
Yes.
To you saying, okay, not only do I want to create, I want to help others learn how to do that.
It's really interesting. I went to art school, and when I was there, I realized I knew nothing. I didn't know anything. And a lot of my fellow students did know a lot about it. So I was sort of a Fidiac, first time in college, and I remember thinking it was so scary. And I remember thinking that if I ever had to work with students, I would make it not scary. And so then fast forward many, many years after being in, working in ad agencies and running my own business, I approached the school as a client, they were advertising for somebody to do newsletters. And they ended up asking me to teach instead. And I didn't think I could do it. And I became hooked. So learning how to be an artist and then helping other people see the artist within themselves has really made me a better artist too.
So thinking back of the classes, you know, we're going to talk about all the things you've gone on to create and the various medium and that kind of thing, but thinking of the classes that you took, what were some of the classes you took to hone your skill over the years?
So of course there was a curriculum to follow for graphic design, which was my major. I really enjoyed working with professionals. So the teachers I had at that school were working artists and working designers. So they weren't reading about how to do it, they were actually doing it. So you learn a lot that way. What we do is sort of a craft and a trade. So I also learned a lot with my painting classes. I took a lot of painting, anatomy, drawing, like I said before, lots of different types of classes. And I just learned that making something is very gratifying. It's not always easy, but it just, I get so much reward from doing it. So those are the skills I really enjoyed the most were learning how to paint and draw too. So you can see that in the fact that I do a lot of illustration too.
So who are some of your influences? I know you mentioned that you had some people that you worked with, you know, and you kind of modeled and saw how they were people that were in the industry that were teaching you as well. But are there any people that stick out or any influences that stick out for you, authors or illustrators or artists?
I think it's just so many people, it's hard to name just one.
Yeah.
So as far as my teachers go, they were all so committed and professional and skilled that I couldn't help but learn from all of them. My colleagues, my friends, my fellow students helped me learn as well. It would be terrible to just name one or two because there's so many. As I graduated and went into the field, I worked as a graphic designer for some smaller firms. They were all so personal. I think the thing that's connecting all of my influences was a personal connection. And they took the time to show me how to do things and explain things to me. I've always loved cartoons. That sounds silly, but I loved animation and watching cartoons, and I would always turn to the comics first in the newspapers. I loved Snoopy. I loved all that kind of stuff. I'm aging myself by saying that.
No, Peanuts and Snoopy are still popular.
Yeah, so those were a lot of influences for me when I was younger. When I was working my way through the business, I ended up doing a lot of work when I started my own business for the newspaper. So I did a lot of work for Detroit News and Crane's Detroit Business. I turned into an editorial illustrator, which means you're doing a lot of drawings for editorial pieces like newspapers and magazines. That was I really liked that. It was really fun because the deadlines were tight. And it was just like you see in the movies. You walk into the newsroom and there's crazy stuff going everywhere and people are yelling and hurry up. And it's a really nice, fun, energetic atmosphere, and I like that. And I like the point of working quickly on a job and being done with it quickly as well.
Well, I love that you've talked about so many different aspects of the field that people can be employed in with their art. And we have to take a break already, but I'd love to pick up with that in the next segment, because I bet our viewers are like, oh, I didn't know you could be an editorial illustrator and those kind of things. So stay tuned. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be back with Robin Ward talking more about what she's currently working on, and we'll get to talk about some of the things in front of us. Stay tuned.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Maria, so how's work?
It was fourth period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bell and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay. Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson. I'm here today again with Robin Ward. She's a graphic designer, an illustrator, and an educator. So Robin, I know you've brought some things to show us today to give us an idea of the different types of pieces you've created. Where do you want to start?
Well, I'll start over here, I guess.
Okay.
This is my current work on the left side. So, as you know, I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer. And illustration is, some people might not know what that means. It's drawing images or painting or Photoshop or creating images for a client to communicate something. I do a lot of illustration work for myself where I sell products and cards and prints and things like that. So what you're seeing on the left here are some examples of some of my note cards that I do with illustrations that I created.
What a happy egg this is. I love it.
I do love happy, optimistic little things. It's just one of my things. So these are examples of some of those cards. It's a dancing breakfast series.
Oh, I love
and
it.
I love food, period. But so that's, I can put them on textiles, on coasters, on greeting cards. And so that's some of the work I'm doing right now.
Very cool.
I have an Etsy page and a website that I'm sure I can give you the information for later. And those are just really fun for me. They're not working with the client, which is what I've done with my whole career, is work for clients, trying to communicate something that they want people to know in a voice that works for their market. So these are pieces that I'm doing now. I'm looking to get into some licensing, which is selling your images, letting people use them on certain products for a period of time, places like Anthropologie and Target, things like that. So that's kind of where I'm hoping to head.
Wow.
And what you see over there is another book. I do a lot of illustrations for writers and authors and companies, and that is something that's a middle reader book. It's geared towards boys. And the client contacted me a while ago and asked me if I could do something in a style that's very different than the rest of my work, actually. Sort of like a Hardy Boys style. And I was really nervous to do it. And I thought about it, and at first I said no. And I decided, the writer and the publisher were persistent, and so I said yes, because I work with my students every day trying to convince them to do things they're uncomfortable doing. And I thought, why am I not doing what I'm trying to make them do? So I took the job, and it was so much fun. I learned so much from it. I really enjoyed it. It's black and white line art, which is very different than some of my other work, as you can see. As we work through here, more cards are kind of scattered around. These are examples of MU Journal, which is a project that I do here at school with students, where students, editing students and graphic design students, take in artwork and writing and any kind of imagery, dance, poetry, music, filmmaking, from anybody in the Madonna University family. So students, alumni, faculty, and staff can all submit any kind of creativity they like, and we put it together in this beautiful journal that students create. So that's been a lot of fun for people. So we're having a good time with that. We're working on issue 4 right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What you see over here are some examples of children's books that I do for people. So this example actually was written by a former student who came to me after I spoke in their class about what does an illustrator do? And she was very interested in it. She ended up writing a story and asked me to illustrate it for her. So that was a lot of fun, working with a student in a professional capacity.
Wow.
These are examples of books I've done for writers who have a series of children's books, and the process of going through that is lengthy and starts with ideas and thumbnail sketches, and then the approval process goes back and forth for a while. It can take about a year to do a book, actually. So these are examples of that, too. So
I love your description of what goes into this. I mean, I pick up a book and I see the illustrations and I just take for granted, like, here they are, right? You know, that this is it. This is part of the story. But it sounds like there's a negotiation process or kind of a figuring out process on how, you know, when, let's say I'm an author and I've written my book, do they just send it to you, you read it, and then you come up with like some ideas about it? Do you all discuss it? How does that happen?
Well, traditionally, an illustrator will work with a publisher. So it's rare to work one-on-one with somebody. But it happens more now because it's so easy for us to self-publish. So but this was a publisher. The work, this black and white was through a publisher who contacted me.
The Snipe Hunter's Deadly Catch at Muskrat Creek. I love this title.
It's great. These pieces were contacted by authors. I was contacted by authors. So they will reach out to me and they've seen my website or work of mine, and I've been in the business for a long time, so, or they were referred to me. So they call me and ask me if I'm interested in the project. I read the story first. If it's something that I feel I could illustrate, I show them examples of my work so that they're sure my style would work for their story. And then we talk about what's their idea, what do they envision? Are there characters that need to be created, which is what we did with the Uncle Buddy books. So this writer in particular had someone in mind, but didn't tell me at the time. She said, I want to explain who this character is, and I want to see what you come up with. And so I did several sketches of Uncle Buddy in different positions and side views and happy and sad and running around and sitting still. And she chose what she wanted. And she told me later, after we became friends working on these projects, that the character looked just like the person she envisioned it being.
Oh, wow.
So I was really moved by that and really excited. So we'll go through that process, and then you'll go through several approval processes, and then you go to print.
Oh my gosh. I love the description. I had no idea there was so much that was involved behind the scenes for this, but I love that you've explained that. And unfortunately, we have another break really quickly, but don't go anywhere because we've got more from Robin Ward, and she's going to talk about what's next. So stay tuned.
Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and we're in the studio with Robin Ward. As I mentioned, she's a graphic designer, illustrator, and an educator. And we've looked at some of the awesome pieces that you brought with you today.
Thank you.
And I understand that we have some video that we're going to show, and we'll have you talk through what we're looking at there too.
Okay.
So we'll take a look at those now. Oh, in action.
So here we go. Yeah. So a lot of my style is done in the watercolor medium and pen and ink, and this is an example of me painting. This is the other style where it's a crosshatch style where I'm working with pen, just pen and ink, and that's a style of drawing that's called crosshatching. And the process takes a while. It takes longer than I expected when you're doing several illustrations. So I work on paper. And all traditionally, I work by hand most of the time. I can work digitally, but I prefer traditional.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
yeah. And I work a lot in colored pencil as well. So when I can, I like to work outside. Actually, this is a video of me working outside. The light is so good outdoors. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So the artist at work, right?
Yes, yes, always working.
And you said you like hand drawing. So do you have a favorite? I know it's like again asking about like a favorite child, right? But is there a style or a medium or something that you've done that you just feel like that's what I love to do? I'll do the others, but this is really what I love.
Oh, well, I really love watercolor. I love watercolor painting. I love colored pencils. I like line art. I like working on paper. It's just all so much fun. And I imagine I'll grow my style as well, but those are my favorites.
Well, and it sounds like you started working, if I understand the trajectory correctly, you started working for agencies, and now it sounds like you're doing a lot of things kind of on your own.
I am. It's really fun. It's really a lot of fun. So I hope to keep doing that, building my own business.
Yeah.
I teach full-time too, so that makes a difference. When I'm teaching, that's my focus. When I'm not teaching, my focus is my artwork. So I hope to keep working and getting new clients and just having fun with it.
So if you had all the time and all the backing or resources in the world, what would your dream project be?
I would love to do more kids' books. I would also love to do licensing. I'm really getting interested in that. I've been reading a lot about it, and I'm really interested in that and approaching bigger companies to take my images and put them on different products. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. And what do you think? I know you're an educator in this field too. What do you see as the future of teaching in this field? I mean, I know technology's changing, and you've got to learn so many things. What do you see as that?
I think as far as graphic design goes, the technology is always going to be there, and you just have to keep up with it. You have to keep learning, and what it does is it helps you stay fresh. It keeps you on your feet. Everything new is going to come at you. AI is coming at us. I figure that we're going to figure out a way to wrap ourselves around it and use it as a tool. That's my hope. And I think you just continue to learn. I think the future of graphic design is just to keep learning. And as for students, I would say don't be afraid to try new things. Same for illustration. Keep trying, keep practicing your craft. Ask other people about it, ask mentors about it, get advice from people, and just keep working. Don't be afraid to have a bad day. Just put the time in, like any other thing. Go to work every day, and you can't go wrong.
Well, awesome. And I think we have a couple more pictures. I know we just can't get enough of all the different things, so we're going to have a couple more pictures we're going to show. What are we looking at? Oh, look at that.
Oh, so that's one of the images in the Snipe Hunters book. It's about two boys that, it's a fictional school up north. And I do a lot of research for these projects, actually, a ton of research. So I did a lot of research on the Asabo River, which I also happen to know a lot about because I grew up on that.
Oh, wow.
But these boys are up in northern Michigan. They break out of school and go on an adventure in a canoe. And this is them sneaking out of school. Don't sneak out of school, but that's what they were doing. So that's a pen and ink drawing. This is one of my current things that I'm selling right now. It's a series of illustrations on note cards of vintage cocktails.
Oh, fun.
And I sell them as note card packs. Oh, wow. Another note card pack I have is kind of nature themed. And these are images that you showed an example of me drawing one that are basically colored pencil, actually.
Wow. So colorful. I love the colors that just pop from that.
Thank you. This was a drawing from one of the Uncle Buddy books of the treasures. That's from the treasures. So the kids are finding treasures and coming home with them. And I can't tell you because you have to get the book to read the story.
Don't give away the
ending. It's a
ending.
wonderful story. And so those are pictures of the final product of the drawings in that book.
Mm-hmm. Well, where can people find you? If they're looking to connect with you, where can they find you?
Well, I have a website, Robin Ward Illustration,
okay.
And I have an Etsy page that's Little Blue Egg Art. And I will send you the links to that if you need them.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
So where did that, I have to ask, where did that come from?
Little Blue Egg?
Yeah, what's the inspiration for that?
Well, my name is Robin. I love birds, and they have little blue eggs. So.
So see, the artists find inspiration just about anywhere.
Yes.
Well, it has been a treat just learning about all the different pieces that you've created and just getting to hear your perspective on, you know, the fact that I heard you say something just a little while ago about art and people understanding that you can make a living from this. A lot of times they hear the opposite.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like anything isn't easy.
Sure.
But if you work really hard and you get better and you keep practicing, and you ask for help and you learn, keep learning, you can probably do it. And so I've been doing it for a long time. And like anything else, it takes a lot of work and practice and commitment, and it's really gratifying. You can do it.
Well, thank you for bringing the beauty of the world to these different pieces and bringing joy to the people that enjoy them. So thank you, and thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you for watching, where we celebrate all the wonderful things happening in Michigan, and we'll see you next time. Take care.